All right, chat. Real quick snapshot at all young heroes. Wow. Immediately, some of these stats are surprising me. Not Ike. Oh my god. What the heck?
Oh
42,
my.
42. Hey, we called Mia right. I was like, I'm willing to bet she has 43 speed. I said 42 minimum, but I was expecting 40. She's 43 speed. Wow.
Yeah, 43.
I can't believe Ike and Mia are both 84, 84 overall offensive spread. That's crazy high.
Yeah, can we just note how god swords are these days? Ike has one more attack, one less speed, and then almost identical bulk. Like, really?
Chat, this is
Literally one
ridiculous.
more less res than Mia, and that's it.
You realize these kids are literally on steroids. 42 attack, 41 attack, 41 attack, 42 attack, 43 attack. This is the highest attack banner in Fire Emblem Heroes. The highest attack banner are all kiddos. Does that make any sense to anybody here? When you become an adult, you get weaker.
Also, fun to note, at least with Ike and Boyd, the diamonds in their weapons are the same as Thor's Mjolnir.
Wait, the diamonds in their weapon?
Yep. That little diamond thing in the middle.
Oh.
It's the same one that's on Mjolnir.
Okay. Ow. Oh, Boyd. 36 speed. Yeah. He can actually pass Shamir on odd turns. That's interesting.
Yep. I will certainly like to dissect that further.
Actually, he's likely better than Shamir, period. He can do a speed damage reduction build very well.
At the very least, you can do an follow-up one very nicely. And
Oh,
boy, is
yeah.
he hitting harder.
He's hitting way harder, though. All right. That's 79 overall. It's not the greatest, but it's not bad considering he
It's
gets
just
attack plus 3 fundamentally. Yep.
It's just sub of 80, which is pretty good for a demote.
Okay, so let's go over the snapshot. Okay, hero number 1, the close-knit siblings. Ike with 40 HP, 42 attack, 42 speed, 32 defense, and 26 res. Of course, we got to see him in the trailer, but what are his banes and boons?
Ike's got the obligatory attack speeds and boons, and pretty much the obligatory HP res and bans at 182 BST.
Oh, wow. So this is another hero that if you go florets for attack and speed, wow.
Yeah,
that's
you will have no problems with that.
That's okay. Very, very strong hero. Of course, everybody already knows his kit. His kit is actually ridiculous. It's been a day, but I still don't think you should change anything. I think even though he can be a really good dual hero, you keep him as is. His kit is very well produced, and I think he'll use it very well. Fundamental issues of not being saver unit aside, when he does perform, he's going to be among the best performers. So, best Ike, easily.
100%.
And
no dispute.
no dispute. And I think at this point, we can clearly say top 3 God Sword.
Yes.
Yes.
I think I can thoroughly say that.
Yes. Yeah, for those who forgot, his sword does ridiculous things. He somehow has accelerator cooldown, damage reduction, null follow-up, all stats plus 5. And of course, Distant Dart has been released. Null Caesar up, joint drive attack with 4 cooldown ether that's coming out really quickly. So he's not wanting for damage. He's heals. Basically does everything that you could possibly ask of him. He's 195 scoring, right?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
actually, because he's a duo, he should score 195, yeah. So,
Yeah.
not
Okay.
200, but still really, really high.
Really, really high. All right.
And it is, of course, important to note that while he does have 42, compared to every other God Sword, he doesn't have Slaying because he doesn't need it. So he's actually more like a 45, 42, relative to most God Swords.
Huh. So overall, is that the overall highest attack speed photo for God Sword?
Basically, yes. I mean, the highest attack speed sum in general.
It's 84, right?
Yeah, I want to say so. No. Who is it? 83. Yeah, Volca at 84 with Brave. So.
Okay.
Yeah. There you
Highest.
go.
All right.
Yep.
Well, we're gonna move on. Self-explanatory. Ike is amazing. If you like Ike, absolutely recommended. Only thing I will always fault him for is the fact that Greg Chun sounds like an adult, and Ike looks like he's 7 years old. So Ike sounds like any other Ike.
I came out of the womb of Chad. Let's be honest.
Terrible.
But I know, of course, he has his duo skill, which is basically 2 cooldown pulse reset, like pulse tie with guard, and attack speed -7 within 5 rows and 5 columns. Really good for resetting specials and like summoner duels against saviors and things like that.
Agree. All right, next, Mia with 40 HP, 41 attack, 43 speed, 32 defense, and 27 res. Very comparable to Ike. Essentially, wow, no, they're almost identical.
Literally.
Yeah,
Name
one
a more
trade-off.
iconic God sword.
Huh?
Name a more iconic God sword spread.
Yeah. So this is pretty clear cut. If you can put Ike in your top 3, Mia's at least in your top 5. Virtually identical stat spreads and virtually identical ideas of doing nearly everything. You can't stop her specials. She gets all stats +5. She gets an all up. She gets dodge. She has slaying, unlike Ike, and she, whatever reason, has phantom speed built in her weapon. Sure.
Yeah, the cool thing that thing is actually really cool. Of course, the slaying, Mia has slaying, but Ike has effectively better slaying, and Ike will hit surprisingly harder because she has 1 less attack and nothing really like fixing that compared to Ike. Plus the attack +3 on Ike's sword. For reference, by the way, Mia has the obligatory attack super boon, but as that awkward 43 club, she has HP, speed, defense, and res super pains.
It's not such a...
Literally, well, that does mean that literally if you go minus anything on Mia, you're screwed, except for an attack.
Well, that's if they go for her. As good as she is, and I do think if you make a +10 Mia, guys, with Vital Astra, she's ridiculous.
Yep.
Vital Astra times pulse on Mia is sanity to me. But speed defense tempo plus flashing blade as a fodder. And now that you've pointed out that speed defense tempo is in fact on all infantry, which means not just melee infantry, ranged heroes. You can do like, I wouldn't suggest like Nino, for example, but you could do something like flashing blade for speed defense tempo Nino with like, you know, blade tome, and then you buff her up, and then she has like ruptured. I don't know. You could do some like interesting things. Desperation users.
One that is interesting is Kaze. You could basically turn him into a bootleg Volca.
Yeah, Kaze would love to have flashing. No, actually, he doesn't need flashing blade for it. But you're right. It would. That's speed defense simple.
Yeah, the tempo at the very least. Obviously, I'm trying to think of who would be a particularly good.
Oh, Young Innis, absolutely. Though. Yeah, and you also mentioned Jomk. But yeah, a bunch of good heroes would use speed defense simple chat, so X flashing blade for. Now, ideally, you just use her. I feel like we're gonna see lots of Ikes and Mias, not just because they're popular characters, but because fundamentally these are just really, really useful and strong characters. Now, I do think we'll see more Ike than Mia, because Mia, what's her BST?
Mia's BST is not gonna be anywhere near Ike's because it's not.
Yeah, because no duel.
But she does have a natural 183 because she's one above Ike. She got riddled with more super banes. So yeah,
she at least scores as highly.
Yeah,
as anybody.
BST highly, yeah.
Yeah, as the average non-dual infantry, melee infantry. All right,
still more usable.
Still reusable, but yeah. So blows my mind that we actually got 2 top 5 god swords, if not top 3, in the same banner. Her promise is immense, and so we'll just move on from that. Pretty self-explanatory. Her build is a lot more variable than Marv's. Ike's though.
Yeah, definitely. Although Ike brings something unique to the table, Mia is a generalist.
Yeah, I agree. Finally, we have Ilyana. No, it's not finally. Soren's next. We have Ilyana, Awakened Appetite Ilyana with 40 HP, 41 attack, 30 speed, 18 defense, and 42 I said she would have 40 res base. I didn't actually think they would go this high.
Yeah, they really decked her in res. On the other hand, they did not give her a defense stat.
18 defense. Yeah, we were hoping for some more defense. This makes the young Leon comparison a lot more interesting. Also, it's faster than I thought. 30 speed.
Yeah, she has wary, and yet she has somewhat of a defense speed stat.
Okay. So, what's her super boons? What's her BST?
So, as far as young Ilyana is concerned, she has a super boon and an attack and res.
Oh my god, that's perfect.
And then super boons HP defense. BST at 171.
Okay.
go plus attack and you're good. Or plus
imme-
res even because she has a res check.
Yes. Immediately, chat. I think this is a worthy plus 10 project. Now, it's always debatable whether you go for a plus 10 mage or not because they don't score well. Once again, what's her BST?
171, so 175 if you go proper boon.
Yeah. Yeah, so not ideal. Nowadays, you're looking at 185, and even if you go duels and whatnot, that's never going to catch up.
Duels, if you're... I don't think Ilyana's a great duel unit, I'm just going to put that out there. Duels
Right.
are the kind of units you want to have long-term, unique niches that can't really be competed with and are very, very powerful. A tank is not that.
Okay, so she's easy to build. Low attack res with QR seal is probably something you want, and then you maybe attack res unity with like joint drive or maybe a smoke or something in her C slot.
Mirror
I don't
stance
really.
3 from Ocean.
Huh?
Or Mirror stance 3 from Ocean.
Yeah, or stance. That's also very good. That's like basically just giving her the Leon builds.
Yep, or the Julius build. Which
Cool.
she's basically the green to those two.
Yeah. But yeah, for those who forgot, she has various stats. This is your 4-star hero, so it's actually really impressive that she has res +3, attack res -6 on your opponent. And if you out-res your opponent, reduce damage by up to 40%, as well as if you out-res them by 5, they cannot make a follow-up attack. But that's why I was surprised to see her speed is at 30, because that's higher than I expected. Now,
It is
Yeah.
Ilyana, but
right.
still a little higher than even I expected.
Okay. Anyways, I think she's a fine unit.
Yep.
I would be interested to see if people actually allow them +10 her.
The wary part is what's unique. Though I will say, don't feel pressured if you build Julius to build Ilyana. For reference's sake, Julius, if we were to take a fully invested Julius versus a fully invested Ilyana, Julius would actually end up having 1 more HP, 2 more attack, equal speed, 6 more defense, and 1 more res compared to Ilyana. So,
Yeah, you
He's
could just
still-
make Julius.
yeah. And it's arguably easier because he's already... You get 3 copies for free.
Yeah.
So, it is also funny. Orochi exists, and Orochi somehow manages to have 6 more defense than Ilyana, despite Ilyana being a mixed tank.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're looking for offensive green mage, similar stat spread, it'd just be Orochi.
Yeah. Orochi is obviously much worse. Her Tiger Spirit is just Panic Smoke with attack res +6, but it's not like it's a huge downgrade if you're just looking for the offense.
Yeah. The hushed voice Soren, I don't think that's hushed. I think
Oh
it's
no, he's
more
pretty
than
high.
it's.
He does not have a single voice dialogue.
Yeah, I don't think you called. It's kind of dark to say hushed voice, but all right, hushed voice Soren, 36 HP, 42 attack, 34 speed, 16 defense, and 43 res.
Soren's even faster.
This is hold on. This is the most copy and pasted banner I have ever seen. The difference between Ike and Mia is minimal, and the difference between Ilyana and Soren is a bit
little
more than
bigger.
minimal, but not significant.
Yeah, they're still both surprisingly fast. I mean, at least in Soren's case, he actually doesn't even get defense in his weapon, so it's not like he's even trying, but kind of funny.
All right. Well, Soren chat is 5 stars, but for those 5 stars, and he's colorless. But for that reason, he's actually better in general than Ilyana, and in particular, I compare him to like a male Morgan, is what I view him as, and because he's newer.
Yeah.
Huh?
I'd say he's kind of almost more like a Bravimon dual leaf hybrid.
Right. You can look at it a bunch of different ways, but essentially, again, it's another res check hero. If greater or equal to 1, unit makes a guaranteed fall attack. If greater or equal to 5, and they use sword, lance, axe, bow, dagger, or beast damage, foe cannot counterattack. And if it's greater or equal to 10, their damage reduction skills are reduced by 50%. So looking at it as a Bramimon and / Leaf, it does make sense. But yeah, unlike Morgan, who's relying on penalties to get all these things to trigger, he actually just depends on his own res. If his own res being as high as 43, it's crazy.
Yeah, plus
This is-
the attack res 6 and mirror impact.
Yes. He's gonna get all his abilities. Basically guaranteed. The only time it falls apart is against other mages. But then why would you want him to fight other mages? He would do great there, to be clear. But
Sorry, visible check. Again. it's an added start of combat check, so
Okay.
so 43 res is still pretty good for that.
Yeah. All right. Well, all that said, mirror impact, I would still do like attack res unity, mirror unity. I think that's probably the best. All attack res from like Ilyana would be pretty good too. Oh, also, is that all attack res 5 stars or 4 stars? Yeah, I figured.
By the way, but for Soren, HP, attack super boons, defense res super banes, 171 BST.
Wait, what?
Uh,
171.
Yeah, 171. So obviously go plus attack.
Yep. All right, but yeah, obviously keep the times pulse, and then not a hard hero to build. Very similar to, well, I don't know. I think if it were up to me, I would do attack res unity, attack res form, or maybe another like attack defense form, or something like that. He might not need more res. Lol attack res.
He doesn't really even try with his defense, and he has 36-16 defense block.
Yeah, you might not be able to save it no matter what. It's interesting that Ilyana has damage reduction, but Soren does not. But Soren does not get counter attacked. Interesting.
Yeah, Soren isn't even supposed to get it physically, whereas Ilyana is just trying her damnedest to actually tank anything physically.
I actually don't like the fact that neither of them have defense, because it makes them a harder. It keeps Leon valid, because Leon actually stacks up quite a bit of defense. These two actually struggle with that no matter what.
Leon's a raw. I guess that is the thing then. Leon's a stat tank. Ilyana's a dodge, I guess, tank. Damage reduction tank. Which is also what Julia's goes for. And then Sora isn't a tank.
Interesting. They're all distinct. So it's not a power creep.
Not necessarily. It's a different approach that has more going for it, but ultimately it's meta dependent.
Alright. Anyways, I wouldn't change the Iceberg because his res is so high, but yeah, this is a very easy to build hero. Very, very strong. Now, our final hero, Future Great Boyd. Now, there's a separate video for his stuff, but all I basically need to know is his weapon is one of the most janky we've ever seen.
It is peak intrigue.
Yeah, so quick read through chat, just in case you guys were not there for it. Big thing about him is his weapon, large war axe. Attack plus 3, attack speed plus 10 to unit. Neutralize units at penalties attack speed, and units first attack deals damage equals 15% of units attack during combat on odd turns. So on odd turns, he's magnificent, but on even turns, he still gets attack speed plus 5 to unit during combat. So at minimum, he's attack speed plus 5 and attack plus 3, but on odd turns, attack speed plus 10, and then neutralize units penalties to attack and speed, and the 15% of units attack during combat is translated to damage. So it's very interesting from that respect, because if you do a comparison with him and Shamir, heck. All right, chat, I think it's pretty evident why this one had to be shown, because it's becoming harder and harder for me to see Shamir as a superior option over Boyd, because if we're talking about speed damage reduction build, we just came to a very awkward positioning. Because Shamir lacks a weapon that is a perf, now you can get Gonzalez's speed defense rain axe, and that's nice and all. So you inherit it's plus 3 fundamentally. You refine it for plus 3 speed, and it's always speed speed defense minus 5 in an area of 2. That's great. So
48 speed.
48 speed at base versus Boyd on even turns being 41 speed. So that's a 7-point difference in favor of Shamir. However, on odd turns, his speed becomes 46.
Yep.
And so while Shamir is still slightly quicker, the gap has dropped. Now you might be like, well, that's pretty significant. But when you look at the attack, it's justified because it's 37 attack versus 43 attack. It's 6-point advantage. And because of the natural 3 attack advantage and it being a perf, his actual attack advantage is significant.
It's so it's 6, 9, 11 more attack than Shamir. And since he gets attack plus 5 by default, you literally can't compete with that. He will always have 11 more attack at minimum, if not 16 more attack than Shamir.
Yes. And so this becomes a very interesting thing, because you sacrifice a noticeable amount of speed to a very low amount of speed for a significant increase in attack. And the stat spreading here is actually better for Boyd, because 42 HP versus 50 HP. That's 8-point advantage for Boyd. We just went over attack and speed, but the defense of 31 and 31 is a match, and 32 res versus 21 res. Well, that's 11-point difference for Shamir, but what if you do not run a distant counter build? What does that really matter anymore? It still matters, of course, but it doesn't matter nearly as much. And when you go for a speed damage reduction build anyways, having more HP is more valuable than having more defense or res.
Yep.
Especially
Scale's
res.
better.
Yeah, scale's better.
Yep. And of course, even if you were to bring in like Springing Axe, half the time Void's neutralizing his penalties to attack speed anyways, so it's not like that's a big loss. Springy. And then we don't even have to bring in the fact that he also deals 50% attack true damage on the first hit on top of all that, which is ridiculous.
Yep.
Because, for reference, he's hitting 62 natural attack. On odd turns, he's hitting 72 for nothing, which then translates into an extra 10 true damage. So, for all intents and purposes, on his first hit, a default Void is 82 attack.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, he'll be awkward to play around because, again, you don't get to choose whether you're always going to fight on odd turns. Sometimes you will have to fight on even turns. But with all that said, if you have that in you and you're willing to fight through it, this is a very rewarding character. At 43 attack base, pointed out, that's the highest for a free-to-play hero by far.
Tied with Basilio, and that's not even thinking about how much more attack his axe has.
Yes. Right, sorry, you gotta account for the axe difference. Yes. So, I think he puts Basilio out of a job. I think he puts Shamir out of a job.
He certainly put Gonzalez out of a job. Poor Gonzalez. By the way,
yeah.
Fun fact, he has one more attack and one more speed than Gonzalez for the same HP. And that extra stat Gonzalez had went into his defense.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Basilio is basically pointless now. If you're middling speed, like Basilio's, like Gonzalez, this is over.
Yeah. Void's is obviously middling in the larger scheme of things, but when you consider they get 10, eventually, that's not.
Oh my god, I just realized. A bunch of people made Gonzalez. It's not even been a month.
Nope.
He's already power crept.
Fortunately, the update that brought Gonzalez to Grails brought Void into the game, so you can make the change now. But Gonzalez,
yeah, but I've seen people already give him trait fruit, +1 him.
In certain, to be fair, to a certain degree, Gonzalez is actually pretty popular. So people just wanted to build him, but for the people who did it purely for arena.
Look at this. He has one more attack, one more speed, and a perf weapon.
Yeah, even if you didn't like the perf, you could literally just get rid of it and he would still be better than Gonzalez.
Wait, hold on. What's Boyd's super boon again?
HP attack.
So yeah, 47 attack. So Gonzalez also has a super boon in attack, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, 47
I don't think Basilio
attack.
does.
I don't remember what Basilio has, but it doesn't matter anymore. All right.
Yeah.
And finally, his BST. What is it actually?
181. So you have to go plus attack at some point.
You have to go plus attack. All right, that's a bit restrictive. So maybe he's not as, because I was hoping it would be 182 and you can go for plus speed and then it would make some sense. No, so Shamir is not power crept. That's the thing. Shamir should still overall be better in speed damage reduction builds, especially if you give her either Gonzalez's weapon for the Rain Axe or Spring Axe. Those two are.
Do that. She's actually not really that much better in speed. Period. You pretty much have to go that route. But at that point, yeah, she'll still be better in the speed damage reduction because she'll, in her best, Void's worst, Shamir has more than enough speed to double Void. But in the best case scenario for him, it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, that speed damage reduction build, Shamir will still easily do better.
All right, so this is the awkward part, chat. Despite all the praise I heaped on Boyd, I actually don't like middling speed units, and I actually don't like extremely conditional units, and there's no more extreme condition than odd or versus even turns. That is not even like something I can use consistently. It's impossible to use consistently.
First per phase, that's even worse. As a nemesis user, I have to say that.
Right. All right. But yeah, no, this is absolutely a worthwhile unit. Okay. So he's a recommended hero. It's just, I'm not sure if it's worthwhile for people. Personally, I'm not doing it, but I'm a different case because I don't have a need.
I have
Yeah, I don't. So it depends on you guys. But if you're looking for an Axer, he's absolutely recommended in my books. And of
I
course,
probably honestly still recommend him over Shamir if you're willing to fully commit. In
yes.
part because you can just ascend for speed, so that's not like on a full commitment. It's not exactly a big loss.
Because I'll be honest, I think if you're making a DC rail hero nowadays, it's Yanfei. Easy. But if you're making like a hero that's meant to do damage output, then that's Boyd. Easy.
Yeah.
Or
easily.
I guess he also kind of does it.
He's more of a res tank, well, like a mixed tank, but yeah, he does.
But he actually hits really hard too.
Yeah, he does really solid damage. Though Boyd is like literally
On another level, especially on odd turns. All right.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's sum it up. This is a very impressive banner. Unfortunately, timing's bad, and I feel like we're gonna say timing's bad for the next little while. This is easily the least exciting banner from my viewing of your reactions. Fine, that's absolutely fine. I do think there are a few valuable heroes to pick up here, and it is very different to see 2 God Swords out immediately, followed by 2 mages, and they're also very similar to each other. So it's banner is really weird. It's really awkward. But if nothing else, this is the highest attacking banner in the entire game. The minimum lowest attack being 41, which is, how does that even make sense? The highest attack banner in the entire game,
and the speeds are at minimum 30, so it's not even like it's the slowest banner to compensate.
Not even the slowest. Yeah, it's a weird banner, chat, but I can't give it anything lower than 8 out of 10. To be honest, I'm still leaning towards 9 out of 10 because I feel like the foddering here is excellent in terms of being like at the top of the meta. Ike and Mia are definitely going to be there. Ilyana and Soren are not going to be quite there, but they're going to be for their classes especially. Well, Soren especially for his class at the top. And then Boyd is actually a good free-to-play hero.
Yeah, Boyd in particular, I think, is a huge part of it. No matter how divisive he's going to end up being, he's a huge Grail project that I think a lot of people are going to go for. So, no, I absolutely agree. I'd probably give it at least an 8. Like, this banner is fantastic. And at the very least, I know I'm going to reap the benefits of having Boyd in the Grails. I will probably plus 10 them. I don't have that much choice.
Alright, anyways, if you guys enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, follow. But this week, we're just doing a snapshot of these heroes because I am too tired for my exam to formally go over everything. But let me know if you guys like this format better. It's much quicker, but again, I feel like we don't provide nearly as much value by pointing out what makes units special. But, you know, you guys can let me know.
Yeah, exactly.